and welcome to my video blog. My name's Chris Hoare. I'm the son of Mike Hoare and the author of the only biography on his fascinating life. The question I'm asked most about my father is, how did he get involved in the Congo? I mean, he was a chartered accountant, wasn't he? So I'm going to give you the answer, and it's absolutely fascinating. Essentially, he was an adventurer. You have to know that. That was the main thing in his life. And early on, he rode a motorbike from Cape Town to Cairo, for example. And then in 1958, he went looking for the lost city of the Kalahari. He didn't find it, of course, but what he found was a business opportunity, and that was running of safaris in the Kalahari and to the Okavango Delta. So the next year, he ran his own safaris there, and one of the men on one of the safaris was an American who purported to be the vice consul at the consulate in Durban in South Africa. Of course, he wasn't exactly that. He was CIA. And he and Mike actually became best friends. They used to play golf together. They went on trips together into Africa. And I remember him when I was a teenager. He was a tall American with a crew cut and black rim glasses and lots of children, and very often they would join us on our camping trips, and Don Rickard, for that was his name, was a regular visitor at our house. Now, I'm pretty sure that in their time together, Don Rickard and Mike would have talked a lot about the political situation in Africa. And I'm guessing now, but I think Don would have brought Mike around to his way of thinking, which was that the communists were going to get hold of Africa, especially the Congo, and somebody had to stop them. Now, as we know, in 1960, the Congo was given its independence. Immediately, the Katanga province broke away, and a number of parties opposed them, and so it was that they called for mercenary soldiers to assist them, their small Katangese army. Mike, no doubt egged on by Don Rickard, put his hand up and found himself in charge of a unit called 4 Commando, 120 men, and after 3 months the whole thing was over. It was a small beginning, but an important one, because Mike had met the right people. Of course, as we know in life, it's not an advertisement in the Sunday papers that gets you somewhere, it's people you know. And so it was the case with Mike. Then, a few years later, in 1964, communist rebels had just about overrun 2/3 of the country, and the Congolese government now knew who could solve their problem, and it was Mike Hoare. So they called him in, and ultimately he gathered 300 men around him, and in 3 campaigns across the Congo, they pushed the communists out, beat Che Guevara in battle, and of course Mike became world famous and a legend at that time. Now, you may ask, who paid for the mercenaries? And it's quite obvious that it was the CIA. But the more important question, and I think this is fascinating, is why did the Americans want to keep the Congo from the communists? And the answer is in my book, and I'll give you a clue. It begins with a C, and it's not copper. So here we are. Here are copies of my book, and I particularly want to show you the leather-bound copy of my book, which is an edition of only 100 copies with an inserted page signed by Mike Hoare, and every book is numbered out of 100. And of course, the soft copy is also available. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this blog.